When you think about, let's take Ethereum, you mentioned earlier that some people would say, Ethereum is a scam. Can you articulate why some people think that? And then how do you think about Ethereum? Do you think it is a scam? Do you think that it's not a scam? Like just walk me through kind of your evaluation of the folks who say that, and then like how you think about it.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that, Ethereum, I've been a very loud critic of Ethereum for many years. I've also, put money into Ethereum fairly, very early in Ethereum's lifetime. I think you can do both. and it's funny to me that some people can't seem to be able to do that, critique something, but also see the positive side of it. But anyways, I definitely don't view Ethereum as a scam. I think Ethereum will have issues going forward because I think it's going to have a lot of competition. I think Ethereum is kind of trying to both be a very decentralized thing, but also it's not extremely decentralized. So it's kind of in a between a rock and a hard place. Meanwhile, a lot of other platforms are just optimizing for user experience because again, I think something like NFTs doesn't even matter if it's decentralized or not. So a lot of these platforms are saying, okay, we're just gonna optimize for speed and for low fees and for ease of use, and we'll be more flexible. So when the market shows their interest in new things, we'll be able to adjust for that very quickly. And Ethereum will have, in my opinion, a hard time competing because it's trying to be decentralized while the market, in my opinion, doesn't care a lot about decentralization. So I think that will be a challenge for Ethereum. That being said, I don't think it's a scam. I think a lot of people have multiple reasons why they call it a scam. One of the popular ones is the pre-mine thing. So what people used to call pre-mine back in, when Ethereum launched in 2015 or whenever it was, people used to use the word pre-mine to describe basically a cap table. That's what it is. Like when you start a company, you're going to have a cap table. The early investors and the founders are going to get some equity in the company because otherwise why would they do it? And that's completely normal when it comes to companies. But for some reason, when it comes to Ethereum, people view it as a scam. And I think that's a problematic view. One, I think I'm a capitalist. I believe that founders and early investors should be rewarded for the risk they take. So I don't view the idea of pre-mine as a problem. It can be a problem if you think that Ethereum is going to be the global money. Then you might say, well, you should have two people that have 70% of the supply or whatever. But I don't view Ethereum as money. I view it as a platform for applications. And it's totally reasonable for early founders and early investors to capture some of that value. I think that's totally fine. So I don't view that as a scam. I think it's also a very bad argument because the type of people who are coming into crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever it is, and they're looking at those arguments. They're looking at people saying, well, you shouldn't invest in ETH because it had a pre-mine. Those people are just thinking, well, I invest in Amazon and Amazon had pre-mine. So that's just a bad argument. I don't care. As an investor, I know that I'm not the first one into Ethereum. I understand that, but I see the growth potential. So I still want to invest. So it's just a bad argument. It doesn't talk, it doesn't speak the language of the people who are considering investing into Ethereum. So it's a bad argument that might lead people to take the path you don't want them to take. I see that a lot, by the way, with the so-called toxic Bitcoin maximalist camp. They say a lot of things that are technically true, but they end up arguing for the opposite, for the opposite position because the arguments they make just don't speak the language of the people who are asking the questions. So that's one. The pre-mine is one big reason. Another big reason is, people say, well, Ethereum changed what it is. It promised to be one thing, and over time it's changed what it's doing. And that's that's what a lot of successful companies do. It's totally reasonable. You try something, it doesn't work, or maybe you realize there's no market demand, so you're trying something else. I don't view that as a problem at all. Definitely, it's not a scam. So yeah, I wouldn't use the word scam to describe Ethereum. I'm not particularly bullish on Ethereum at all. People confuse that very often. They say, "Oh, Woody said it's not a scam, so he's trying to shill us Ethereum." I'm really not. I'm just thinking. I'm not particularly bullish on Ethereum at all. I just think that people, if you're going to call everything a scam, you're just going to have a very hard time to get people to see your side. Because, someone shows up and they ask you a question, you call them a scammer, then they're not going to talk to you again. It's over. How do you talk to someone if they're just calling you a scammer and an idiot? I just think we need to stop this behavior. Yeah.
Talk to me about the ability for you to be critical of Ethereum, but you said that you also bought Ether very early on. So basically you financially held it, but you were also critiquing it. And on the internet, that's not allowed, right? Obviously, you can't do both things. So talk a little bit about like why do both, and why do you buy it even though you're critiquing it, or why do you critique something that you're holding?
Right. So okay. First of all, probably most of my critique of Ethereum was in points in time that I didn't hold it. But I did also definitely have criticism about it when I did hold some. And for me, kind of my style has been that this is how I learn. At first I research those things myself. I look into them. I see things that I like. I see things that I don't like. I recognize where I might see some growth. But then I talk a lot about the things that I don't like because I kind of want people to change my mind, and that seems to. You kind of get to attract a lot of smart people who will, correct you where you're wrong, or support what you think. So I find that for me, it's just it's a style thing, right? It helps me learn about those things, and I think it's very reasonable if you want to invest in something. You want to know what the benefits are, but also you want to know what the issues are. I think it's very reasonable. It's okay to talk about those things. Probably everything in the crypto space has a lot of drawbacks, even Bitcoin. I hope I don't get canceled for this, but even Bitcoin has some issues. So
what do you think are the drawbacks of Bitcoin?
So we talked about the privacy thing. I think that's a big one. I think that, Bitcoin very early on, even like people like Hal Finney and probably Satoshi talked, in the Bitcoin Talk forums about how it's very likely that, custody of Bitcoin will centralize over time. They saw that back in 2010. And I think we're seeing that happening today for real, where a lot of, Bitcoins are kind of centralizing in those Bitcoin banks. And that might be fine. I'm not saying that's necessarily bad, but it definitely, it changes the dynamics, and it's not necessarily what a lot of people expected that would happen, and it changes the kind of the power dynamics. So yes, Bitcoin is very decentralized, but it's not perfect. It's very hard for me to imagine that people, if the future we believe in, where everyone will own Bitcoin in the future, is true, it's very hard for me to imagine that people will all, manage their own keys and have, Bitcoin self-custody. I doubt that would be the case, because it's not really built for that, in my opinion. We'll see, who knows? But, I think a lot of it is not what people expect it to be, which could be fine. I mean, I'm still extremely bullish on Bitcoin. I think it has a lot of room to grow, but we keep learning how those things are not what we expect all the time.
What's up, guys? Bang, bang. It's your boy Pomp. Thanks so much for watching the Best Business Show. Our goal is to make this the largest, most actionable business show in the world. And to do that, we need your help. We've partnered with SoFi as our exclusive sponsor because they have a piece of software that we think will help you take the information that we share on a daily basis and make it actionable. We want every single person to pursue and achieve financial security and financial freedom. In order to do that, you gotta act. And SoFi allows you to do it. So you can go to SoFi.com/pomp today. You can open up an account. And when you open up an account, you can invest in all sorts of different types of assets. ETFs, individual stocks, IPOs, Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies. They even have an automated investing function. If you want to invest, SoFi can help you. They've got a couple of different offers that you can benefit from. The first, open an invest account, and they'll give you up to $1,000 for free. Kind of a no-brainer. Second is if you go on and you buy one of the cryptocurrencies that they offer, they'll go ahead and they'll give you $10 of Bitcoin for free. And third, some of you are saying, I already have a brokerage account. I already have an account somewhere else. Right now, you can get up to $5,000 for transferring your account. That's right. SoFi doesn't care where your current account is, but if you transfer it from that place to SoFi, they'll pay you up to $5,000 for doing it. Why wouldn't you do it? It's up to $5,000 for free. Head on over to SoFi.com/pomp today to get started. And come back tomorrow and watch more of the Best Business Show. Together, we're going to build the biggest show in the world.